I never tumble. Yeah, nigga, I speak fluent. Hope my feelings shoot out like a. If I'm being honest. Hope they shoot out like a. If I'm being honest. Guess you really lost it. Oh, said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest. Hope they shoot out like a rocket. Guess you really lost it.
It looks like you lost another one.
Said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest. Hope my feelings shoot out like a rocket. Niggas thought they had the swag, but I'm really on it. Look at you just window shopping, that new bag I bought it. Caught you lurking on my Instagram, why the fuck you on it? Said you didn't care, mind your business, hop up off it. Could've swore you had the juice, but I guess you really lost it. Hop out in public, check my fit, don't ask me what it's costing. Yeah, ayy, fuck your feelings, I'm off topic. Really could give a fuck about what you doing, I got in my bag and I bossed it. Yeah, ayy, look at me now, turned to a demon. Stuck at the bottom for so long, saw the top and I had to start fiending. Fingers touched the greening, had to stop dreaming. Pop out in the scene, but seeing niggas for being humble. I outlasted everybody, Royal Rumble. Once I reached the top, I saw I never tumble. Yeah, soon as I got the bag, I said I never fumble. Give me real pressure and I never crumble. Look at these new shoes, I got 500 on my feet. Just for me, bitch. Why do all these niggas envy me? Envy me, bitch. Steady tryna find out what I'm doing. Money talks, yeah, nigga, I speak fluent. Said I'm on 3 pills right now, if I'm being honest. Hope my feelings shoot out like a rocket. Niggas thought they had the swag, but I'm really on it. Look at you just window shopping, that new bag I bought it. Said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest. Hope they shoot out like a rocket. Guess you really lost it. Oh, said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest. Hope they shoot out like a rocket. Guess you really lost it.
It looks like you lost another one.
Said I'm on 3 pills right now, if I'm being honest. Hope my feelings shoot out like a rocket. Niggas thought they had the swag, but I'm really on it. Look at you just window shopping, that new bag I bought it. Caught you lurking on my Instagram, why the fuck you on it? Said you didn't care, mind your business, hop up off it. Could've swore you had the juice, but I guess you really lost it. Hop out in public, check my fit, don't ask me what it's costing. Yeah, ayy, fuck your feelings, I'm off topic. Really could give a fuck about what you doing, I got in my bag and I bossed it. Yeah, ayy, look at me now, turned to a demon. Stuck at the bottom for so long, saw the top and I had to start fiending. Fingers touched the greening, had to stop dreaming. Pop out in the scene, but seeing niggas for being humble. I outlasted everybody, Royal Rumble. Once I reached the top, I saw I never tumble. Yeah, soon as I got the bag, I said I never fumble. Give me real pressure and I never crumble. Look at these new shoes, I got 500 on my feet. Just for me, bitch. Why do all these niggas envy me? Envy me, bitch. Steady tryna find out what I'm doing. Money talks, yeah, nigga, I speak fluent. Said I'm on 3 pills right now, if I'm being honest. Hope my feelings shoot out like a rocket. Niggas thought they had the swag, but I'm really on it. Look at you just window shopping, that new bag I bought it. Said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest. Hope they shoot out like a rocket. Guess you really lost it. Oh, said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest, hope they shoot out like a rocket. Guess you really lost it.
It looks like you lost another one.
Said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest, hope my feelings shoot out like a rocket. Niggas thought they had the swag, but I'm really on it. Look at you just window shopping that new bag, I bought it. Caught you lurking on my Instagram, why the fuck you on it? Said you didn't care, mind your business, hop up off it. Could've swore you had the juice, but I guess you really lost it. Hop out in public, check my fit, don't ask me what it's costing. Yeah, ayy, fuck your feelings, I'm off topic. Really could give a fuck about what you doing, I got in my bag and I bossed it. Yeah, ayy, look at me now, turned to a demon. Stuck at the bottom for so long, saw the top and I had to start fiending. Fingers touched the greening, had to stop dreaming. Pop out in the scene, fuck seeing niggas for being humble. I outlasted everybody, Royal Rumble. Once I reached the top, I saw I never tumble. Yeah, soon as I got the bag, I said I never fumble. Give me real pressure and I never crumble. Look at these new shoes, I got 500 on my feet. Just for me, bitch. Why do all these niggas envy me? Envy me, bitch. Steady tryna find out what I'm doing. Money talks, yeah, nigga, I speak fluent.
We're up. No worries, no worries. Sweet. I'll let you hop on over here, do your introductions and all that goodness.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Local Artisan. I'm your host, Pornobi1. Welcome to the best promotion interview platform in the world. We are with our guest, the community activist himself, young Yusuf Adama here. You gotta. I still don't have a clap thing. I need to get that. I need to get that. We got it. All right, so I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
All right.
So Yusuf, tell us where you're from and what you do.
I'm Yusuf. I was raised in Beloit.
Mhm.
I have a strong attachment to the community out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really like to be involved in things, and I really want to see the culture and area of Beloit really evolve and change into something better.
Okay, that's good. So, you had a meeting with chief of police?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go.
So it wasn't just the chief of police. It was.
No.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It wasn't how I expected to happen because of some scheduling stuff. Which
Hey, well,
ended up making
talk
better.
about it. Hey, please talk about it. Talk about it.
Let's set the mood real quick.
All right.
So
Ooh.
about let me think. When was that? It was like 2 months now.
Okay.
At the beginning of all this, we were having protests, we were doing marches and everything else.
Yep.
And it was really good. We had came up with some citizen demands that were read at one of the protests on.
All right, here. Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear us.
Here, let me just turn it up a little bit more.
You straight?
Let me just turn up a little. Let me turn you up a little bit more there, buddy. Okay.
There we go. But
Yes, talk a little bit louder.
yeah, we had some citizen demands and everything, and and one of those things was meeting with the chief of police, and I had people send out emails. Regina Duncan on our city council boards spoke on my behalf, and a bunch of really collaborative efforts came together to make this happen. So firstly, I'm super happy about it.
Yes,
it was super great, and spoiler alert, the meeting went really well.
Okay.
About exactly as well as I could have imagined it going. The only thing that could have possibly made it better is if they would have let me record. They did not, but I understand, things be happening, people be malicious, so that's fine. But yeah, I met with, let me make sure I get these names right.
Gotta make sure you get the names right. Make sure.
Chief Zablowski, Captain Sales, and Inspector Stigler. So it was a really, really cool setup. At first I was only speaking to the inspector because Chief was in another Zoom meeting, and then he came in afterwards. But the reason for the meeting wasn't necessarily, catch them slipping. It wasn't me trying to go in there and be like, yo, like, I want.
Yeah, we need this done. We need to get this going right
yeah,
now. Like, hey, I pulled up what's good.
Right.
Like,
It wasn't. I wanted to, put that, extend that handout, and they, came back to collaborate with us, just to make sure that the people that are enforcing our laws in our community,
True.
the community themselves are on the same page, right? Getting really into the head of how the police feel like they should be carrying themselves and everything, so we could have a direct comparison for in the future. So hearing them talk about what they thought all these things meant really sets me up, or sets us all up to understand what needs to be done. So today I'd like to talk about how that meeting went, and then really get into what that means and what I got out of it, and how I feel like that's going to affect things in the future.
True.
So,
You know what? Here.
That's super dope. I got the fuzzy mic thing now. I feel so professional. Look at me.
Yes. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
Got you. No worries. So one of the first questions I asked them was, what does policing, mean to you guys? What does, law enforcement mean? Actually, before this, let's do a little prefix and talk about policing in America. So, the police, since the creation of society and all that stuff, people have decided to have people upholding laws.
Yeah.
And, the issue with a lot of that, historically speaking anyway, is that a lot of times laws were made in the best interest of people that were oppressive, right?
Yeah, true.
People came into places, would dominate the land or countries, set up their castles and towers, and be like, these are the rules here. Even
Always. Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's just how it's been. Same way in America, people came here, they weren't from here.
Not at all.
Implemented some things, and they decided
Ramsacked everything, basically. Yes. They were radits.
Came in like the Saiyans.
Exactly.
Nah, but
oh man.
And implemented rules and stuff, and then decided that there need to be people to keep those rules together. Now, unfortunately, historically speaking, those rules have always been for the best interest of those rich, powerful people, and typically do not address problems like poverty or oppression, by race or gender or anything else. But as time progresses, and not passively, as time progresses and people are involved and angry, all these things in society have changed.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're not wrong.
We
You're not wrong.
live in a less oppressive society than before. Maybe. We live in a more free society, or differently free society before. We're not enslaved currently.
Yeah,
That's
true,
great,
obviously.
We might have to work every day to not starve to death, and that's something we need to work on too. But right now, we aren't forced to work in the fields.
We're not. No, that is true. We're not forced to really do anything,
right,
honestly. Yeah.
Cool.
I just to put the mic a little bit closer.
Just a little bit closer?
Yeah, a little
That's
closer.
cool. That's cool. But I asked them what policing meant to them, and the one inspector had been a officer for over 36 years, so longer than I've even been alive. And they all gave fantastic answers to this, all coming down to basically protecting people's rights, their lives, and their property.
Okay.
And not even in like a super philosophical airy way. They're very, very good answers. The only bad thing about this interview is that I couldn't record it. And the only thing that's bad about
I feel that.
is
I was gonna pull up too with my gear.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, that
would have been
dope.
nice. The only bad thing and the worst thing about that isn't even anything that could have caught them up. I just wish I could better represent that interview, because they gave some amazing insight and everything else.
I feel like if I was there, bro, just hearing all of the stuff that y'all were talking about in that meeting, I would have been like, bro, y'all are really hitting.
It was good, especially with our current chief is leagues better than our last one, and that's one I want to give Beloit Police Department props for that. Our police department has come a long way.
Yep.
They've been really transparent about things that have been happening. Their information they've made way easier to find. It can still be easier. Anytime there has been any incidents, they've been immediate to say something about them, to address them, and that's a good thing. And our chief has been really open to everything. When we had the protests and everything, they were there marching with us oftentimes. you know, they were opening channels to be able to allow people to talk. So
Yeah, true.
this,
They were let everybody get a word in, which was dope. They
Right.
didn't try to shut us up or keep us quiet. Like,
yeah, and it was nice.
They literally was like, all right, we'll let you talk. Just don't get too crazy.
Right, and they helped shut down the roads and all that stuff,
Yep,
and made
true,
sure
true.
that we did it safely.
Mhm.
But yeah, this idea that, you know, the police are there to protect people. You know, they're civil servants at the end of the day. They're here for the people, and the fact that this was a sentiment that was echoed with all of them was extremely important, because there are some people that do think that police are, you know, figures that are there to promote an authority sense, you know, figures that are there to keep people in line. That's not what the police are there for. The police are not, unless you, just in case you are misguided and do think this is what the cops are there for, cops are not in communities
Listen up, y'all.
have a presence that is supposed to scare people. They're not there as an intimidation force.
Yep.
You don't stop crime by trying to scare people. That's not how things work. Cops are there to make sure that if something does happen, you have someone to go to.
That's
now,
true. That's true.
also, cops are not law prevention or
Talk to 'em.
crime
Talk to 'em.
prevention.
Talk to
That
him.
is not. Cops aren't there to stop crimes from happening. They're there to do something after they've happened. You know, and that's going to be very important. That's not anything to diss cops. That's just the nature of their job. If something's
That
going
is honestly
on,
true. That's the truth. Yeah.
right? If something's going on that's ominous, yes, I would hope a cop steps in, but their job doesn't really come into play until someone's breaking the law. Typically.
No, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Now, one of the big things. So I asked them a series of questions. You know, I really wanted to get into their heads and really figure out the mindset of a police officer, because I've never been a cop. I don't know.
I've never got me.
Right, it's not my thing. Maybe with 12 weeks of training, I could do it. But
Hey, I mean, hey, true.
More.
No lie, there definitely should be more.
And one of the questions I asked was how policing has changed, right? And I got introduced during this meeting to a concept called the broken windows theory of policing. And this was, I guess, the way that policing was done for a very long time, a few decades ago. And the broken windows theory basically is kind of just saying that cracking down on small crimes will prevent larger crimes, right? Like, if you...
That kind of makes,
See, now on paper it does. On paper it makes sense. But the implementing it did not go that way.
Oh, okay.
Now,
no,
see,
yeah, I feel that. Yep,
right.
I feel that.
And that's the problem, is that, you know, when you say if we crack down on these small crimes, it stops large crimes from happening, that's a good point. But the issue with that is that, you know, crime in America and what's illegal in America has not always been reflective of an actual, like, moral standing or anything else like that.
You're not wrong.
It's not. So when you're cracking down on every single crime you see, that means you're getting kids that are jaywalking who probably don't need to get arrested, or kids, you know, exactly as it sounds, broken window theory.
Bro, you don't know how many times I've been scared to walk past a cop.
I thought that jaywalking would get me locked up when I was younger. Even now, I'll be like, I know I'm only a block away from the light, but I got to get there. There ain't no cars around.
There was one time where I walked down the street to go to the gas station, right? It was late at night. It was cold outside, so I was wearing a coat. And I didn't take the crosswalk to cross the street because it's like I'm already halfway down the street, so I'm just going to cross the street. I did it in front of a cop, and it's like turned around, went the opposite way. Literally, when he passed me, went up the street, I could see him coming back towards me up the road that he's coming from, and I literally just book it the rest of the way home. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm not getting arrested for nothing.
This walk just became a jog.
Like, I literally went to go get food, and I'm getting hounded now. No, like, not at all.
And that's the thing that we need to, like, another really good part of all this, and this is also goes into, you know, policing changing dramatically, is that not a single person in that room tried to pretend that cops have been perfect forever. And that was a beautiful thing. And, you know, for the most part, they weren't defensive. They were very honest. You know, Captain Sales, I really hope I'm saying his name right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. But Captain Sales is a black man.
Okay.
And even in this meeting, he talked about, you know, being younger and, you know, dealing with that, you know, pressure of thinking cops are after you and feeling like you're targeted by the police and all that.
Yeah.
And how he got into it. So it was really good to, like, listen to them acknowledge these things. Because a lot of times we see people try to move forward in society and, you know, get us to a more progressive place without acknowledging the fact that the past has been messed up. And we can't do that because that's what you see happen when people are like, why are you mad about this thing?
Yeah,
Where it's like,
no lie, yep.
no. You know why we're mad about
Exactly.
this thing. Maybe you think right now our reaction should be different, but don't act like there's not a reason for this. But that's besides the point. But
That
yeah,
is besides the point.
so this broken windows theory wasn't cool. You know, you had people getting arrested for everything, you know, stealing gum, stuff like that.
True.
You know, and that's not what it was supposed to be.
That is true. You ain't wrong.
And
yeah, go through all the notes.
No,
Spill all the tea of the meeting. Spill all the tea. Lucky I don't have the camera on him right now. He's just talking. Like it is.
But it was
This would have been
because that's how, you know, things were done for a long time, and that's even, you know, recently. And in a lot of places it's still like that, and that's not cool. And a lot of specifically communities it's like that. You know, you see in inner city kids, you know, getting stopped by cops hassled all the time. But you don't see those same cops in the suburb often.
Nope.
So, and that's a huge part of
where they grew up at. That's where
a
most
huge
of them grew up
part
at.
of, the difference in policing right now is that it needs to be more uniform. But again, we're going to get into that too.
Yep, we're going to get into all that. Yep, true.
To contrast that, you know, I asked them, what is the, like, new philosophy of policing? How do you, if that's how you thought police were conducted so before, how do you think they should be conducted now? And the answer to that was basically that they were wanting to, you know, gain the respect from the community and make the community believe in them, and then try to protect that community. And another very important piece of this is that every time they talked about the community, they said our community, which is a very, even that small, and I never even brought up the fact that they were doing it, never acknowledged or anything.
Yeah.
That's an important thing, because a lot of times you'll hear, you know, police talk about the places that they're policing as if they're, you know, foreign countries are going in.
Yeah, going into war and shit.
Exactly. It's like, you
maybe
know,
I might not see you tomorrow.
Right.
But like, what you mean you're going down the block? Like,
Right.
what are you talking about?
I gotta go to the ghetto. It's like, that's like a block away from
Like,
us.
I can see you in your car right now.
Like, you're fine. But no, it was really refreshing to hear them in all this whole interview talking about these things that as if they affected them as well. And that's that was the most important part of, you know, our protest, of everything else, was building a sense of community. Because when people care and feel like they're a part of something, they don't want to destroy that thing. You know, they don't want to see that get broken down. And I don't mean that from a riot or protester standpoint. I mean that from like a our city government thing. When you have people, you know, moving into cities that aren't from those cities and don't feel like they belong in those cities, they start profiting from those cities. You see, that's when you see businesses move in and just start bulldozing stuff and gentrifying things, because they don't think they're part of that community. They're trying to make their own community in a community that already exists.
Would you say you're seeing that now happen in Beloit?
Yeah, and that's definitely a conversation.
Yeah, we'll get into that too. Yeah, we go get into that too.
But yeah, the fact that, you know, every single time these officers referred to these things, they're talking, it was them. You know, you really felt, you know, that everything they said, they really genuinely felt. And that this could be a whole ploy or something, but it really doesn't matter. The fact that they are willing to say it and willing to put their faces behind these thoughts is like a hugely important thing.
No lie. You ain't wrong. You definitely ain't wrong.
And along with, you know, this new philosophy of policing, you know, this gaining respect, doing this thing, basically this community-focused policing, was also, I asked, what do they think, you know, the place of police during a protest is? You know, how do you feel? We've seen all around the country right now, in multiple different scenarios, cops abusing their power straight up.
True. Yeah.
Like, there's you know, there's the way things look, the way you perceive things, all this stuff. And a lot of these instances doesn't matter. These cops were in the wrong, and they acknowledge that those cops are in the wrong. And even before I could even say anything of the sort, Inspector was brought up you know, there are bad apples. Yeah. Now, lately, in the last few months, every time you hear this about cops, it's like, oh, there are bad apples, but don't let it ruin it. Like, there are bad apples in everything is what they say. Yeah. Which is what I thought he was going to say. I was about to be
he was like,
now.
oh, I was waiting for you to say that one.
What he said was, there are bad apples, and that's not acceptable because bad apples ruin the whole batch. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
People act like there's not a second part of that.
No, that's true. That's a good,
like
he
the
snapped.
second part
he snapped right there.
Isn't there are bad apples, that's fine. Bad apples happen. It's bad apples will ruin the batch.
Yeah, true.
So we need to do everything.
If there's one speck of shit in the bowl of macaroni, I'm throwing that whole thing away. Like the fuck, so I'm not gonna throw that the one piece it's sitting on. Like, no, bitch, the fuck.
Right.
Like,
gotta go. No, so it was really cool to hear them acknowledge that too.
Good, yeah, that's dope.
But yeah, asking them, and you know, and a lot of these times during, you know, protests, we've seen them escalated whether it be from outside people. We've seen a lot of, frankly, white people escalating these things where you see Black Lives Matter protesting, Black Lives Matter people protesting something, and then some white person is throwing a brick or something like that.
Yeah.
We've also seen situations where they've tried to de-escalate that. It's happened now, and then we've seen cops also escalate situations, unfortunately, where we see peaceful protests get broken up by police officers either being rude for no reason. There's a violin vigil where they came in and were yelling at people and shouting, and it turned into a riot, and that's what happens.
That's always happens.
It's
man.
that.
So crazy,
Well, not
man.
always. And
I mean, okay, no, let me not
Way
exaggerate.
too
Yeah,
often.
you're right.
Way
You're right.
too
You're right.
often.
Yup. It's just way too often. You're
But
not wrong.
they felt that the role of police during a protest is to, make sure people's, again, rights and lives and property is protected. Now, the property part, that's where a lot of contention comes into people with police.
True.
Because that is part of
Yep.
their job, is to protect things that maybe you don't feel like they should be doing. But at the same time, they all said protesting is a right, and it is. You have the right to
free
protest,
speech, all that stuff.
free
Yeah,
speech,
yep.
your government. And now all these people had also helped in our protest, and they showed exactly what they meant by that. Now, during the 8 minutes and 47-second kneeling that we did on Riverside, right? That is a major interstate, which means that medical supplies, things like that, can go through, which means it needs to be left open.
That's true.
Now,
That is true.
we talked to the police, and same with our march. And every single time, they made sure that we could do this in a way that was safe for us by either helping us block off traffic or, preventing things like that. And, had a presence there that wasn't aggressive. They were there showing actual support. And I felt like, in a lot of ways, that's exactly the model for a policeman during a protest. You're there if something goes wrong. You're not there to escalate the situation. You're not there to look like an intimidating force again.
You're not there to do anything but help.
Right.
Literally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not anything but help.
Don't
touch that. You're only helping.
Exactly.
No, I feel you.
Like
I feel you.
And that's exactly how they've carried themselves throughout all of this. And
True.
And it's definitely a reflection of the things that they're saying.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. And this change from this old system of policing, way back. Let's go way back to law enforcement, where law enforcement is basically making sure slaves are in order, or people that are undesirables aren't touching the rich folks. That's basically what law enforcement was since the beginning of law enforcement.
Yeah, you heard him.
And this shift to now we have to establish police to protect people, actual people. Like we're not just protecting people's money, we're protecting people's lives now, a bunch of other stuff. And now we're in 2020 where we have a lot of things that need to change about policing, but we're, away from that broken windows theory into actually community leading things or trying to have community connections. And that led to our, the next part of this was trying to figure out how to have better collaboration, not only between the police and the people, but also the police and other institutions, right?
Okay.
So lately we've been seeing this call to defund the police.
Yeah. Yep.
And I have, very mixed feelings about it.
I was gonna ask. That's a good way.
Yes,
I was gonna ask you about that too. He's hitting all. I don't even gotta ask me questions. He's just going with the flow, man. I need more people on here like this. We might have Yusuf Talks on the platform at some point with y'all. Dang. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Thank you. And this, call to defund the police. Now I have very mixed feelings about it. Mostly because I don't know how, complete these thought processes are and where you want to do with these funds. But more than anything, the idea behind defunding the police is taking jobs that police do and have to respond to and basically diversifying them to more specialized people, i.e. dealing with mental health patients. A cop doesn't always need to be there, or maybe not even an armed cop doesn't always need to be there. But there are people, therapists, psychiatrists, social workers, people like that might be better equipped to handle that.
That's true.
Because honestly and truly, cops sometimes don't have the training for a situation like that.
Not at all, bro.
Right,
not
and that's not a folly on
disappointing.
them, but that's just the truth. So maybe some more collaboratory efforts between them, and then, or cops being called into schools. Now I understand that doesn't happen often. Schools have their own things.
Did you have a cop inside of Beloit Memorial when you were going to Beloit?
We did.
Okay, I did too in my school.
Yeah,
I always I get it. I got it because of the fear of school shootings and stuff
and
like
things
that.
like
people,
that.
people coming into school fucking with the students, stuff like that. But just I don't know. It was that thing when people were talking about that teachers should keep guns on them. I was like, this boy can literally, and like, just imagine if like he just got mad one day and just started rounding off on all the kids. Like, bro, I don't even think I'm comfortable with that. Like, just because he has a badge on doesn't really mean anything to me. Like, I don't like that. It's still
SROs in school are a whole nother thing because we have to really look at what their purpose is in the school and what they're actually doing.
Yep,
and with a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, the concept behind them are great. The implementing of it is where things get rocky.
That's true.
That's why even defunding the police is another really hard thing, because even if you were to say, let's take money from the police and, put it into these things, how do we know that money that's being taken from the police isn't coming from their training stuff?
Exactly.
Because the logic should be maybe, the cops don't need SWAT gear and to be loaded up and all this stuff. Maybe we need other things. But who knows if that money is actually going to go to those things.
They don't need 2016 freaking GMCs rolling around like yeah, no.
But, more than that, even if we didn't defund the police or take any money from them, the need for collaboratory efforts is still very much there. We need to make sure that in all our institutions that they're working, with each other to make sure that people are prosperous, that they're not, afraid, and that everyone is safe.
Yep.
And that's a very important thing.
Very important.
More than that, even that the police are open to this. All three of them said that they're open to collaboratory efforts. Not necessarily defunding the police part, but the fact that they're cops, so I get it.
Cool, obviously.
But
I gotta eat. What do you mean?
Right. The fact that there does need to be more help on a lot of these things. The fact that they do need a presence in that. And if anyone says anything relevant, please.
Oh yeah, and like I said, talk to us in the chat. The chat is open. We are keeping along with the chat. Obviously, Tristan Wardlow said, "Yo, how's it going, bro?"
Thanks, Tristan.
Yeah, how's it going? Like I said, talk to us. Talk to us nice though. Talk to us nice. Yeah, you can't. Keep going.
Yeah, the fact that they do need more help in this, and one of the things that actually got brought up, and I really wish I'd wrote this down better, but they were talking about the fact that in Wisconsin that there's not many places that you even go for for mental health issues. If you were to send someone to like an institution for that, the closest one is like 7 hours away.
That's true.
So if you call a cop and this cop has this person that might not be mentally sound, they have to handcuff them, obviously, because they're in a cop car, and drive them 7 hours away in handcuffs. Now, if you are an anxious person, if you have anxiety or anything like that,
you're going to be anxious for 7 hours
right,
in that
7
car.
hours locked up. Now, in 2012, they had made a proposal to change that so that people like that didn't happen. And this is going to be something we're going to come in at the end again, because a lot of this stuff is all connected. But in a lot of those situations where cops are called for things, even like CPS stuff and things like that, there are people that are more specialized for those situations.
Okay.
And they are open to those collaborations and stuff. We just need to make sure those channels are open. And there are channels
also with that too.
now,
Also with that as well.
but that they're there. And then the bigger thing. The bigger thing is collaborating between the police and the community. Now, we've said this a bunch of times now, and that is the most important part of everything is community engagement.
That's true.
We're going to get into
also
this
true, my
way
friend.
more in depth.
Yeah.
But they were talking about different things that cops in Beloit have done. They did the cones with a cop where they went for Culver's and had people
go
up and eat.
I remember that. Yep, I do remember that.
Cool. They did coffee with cops and stuff. But they were talking about the fact that they do these things and no one shows up, right? And or maybe 5 or 6 people, and I get it too, because sometimes I host events and no one show up, and I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
Also, we have to remember,
come chill with the police down the street.
Right? It's like,
I don't know about that, Chief. They might try to arrest me eating ice cream, and
that we need to really address stuff like that too, and that is completely on the police.
Yeah,
true. They need to come do that. But if the community wants to build that relationship or wants to...
Hold on. Camera turned off. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. We
straight. Can they hear us still?
Yeah, they can still hear us, so you can keep going if you want.
All right. I'm trying. I might freestyle. Let me think.
We getting a Yusuf Adama freestyle, guys? Is that what's really going to happen right now? During technical difficulties time?
Sitting here with just water.
I'm
trying to chill with somebody's daughter.
Ooh. Wait, okay, hold on.
I got friends, and your friend's hotter.
Bars. Wait, well,
bars. Wait, no, hold up. My friends are also hot.
I did not know we were gonna get some bars dropped on this today. Wow, I am very surprised about this. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. Here we go.
No, we're almost good.
We are almost good. Like 10. Oh, hey. Okay. So since this is a good segue into this. Okay, so since you guys are seeing the technical difficulties thing on the screen right now, I would like to announce that there is going to be merch coming out soon for Local Artisan, and this technical difficulty screen that you see on the screen right now is going to be one of the things that is going to be on the merch. So, if you guys would like to have any merch soon, obviously this is a podcast / promotion interview platform. I have to, shout stuff out and everything like that. So yeah, we're gonna be having merch with that. I'm going to be making some press merch for the employees and people that I have working with me on the platform. But that's only on the platform. I won't be anybody for you to buy. So with that, this picture symbol thing will be on the merch when I get it. So yes, just wanted to let y'all know about that. Give me 1 more second.
We straight. This is a good thing. It's been 35 minutes, This is a nice little commercial break. Go ahead and make you a bowl of cereal because we only got a little bit left. It's not.
Yeah, we only got a little bit of time more left.
The lion's share out the way.
True that. Here, let me just do all this again. This is why I need another tech guy on here. That's what I need. I need a tech dude on here. Okay, you guys. We are about to be back. Let me just level this out for you guys.
Make sure I'm not ugly.
Are we gonna get any bars from Yusuf more in the future?
I mean, I could maybe get some future bars. I definitely can.
Are we gonna get a community freestyle at the end of this interview?
I feel like we need to do a community freestyle.
Ooh, he's gonna bless y'all. But y'all ain't ready for the flame. I don't think they're ready for the flame.
Well, I'm trying to promote the fire department too right now. So
he said we got to promote something to put out the flame that I'm about to make right now.
We gonna show. They gonna earn their money today.
He said you gonna give some bankrolls. We can pay our rent today. That's what we gonna do. Okay, y'all. So we are back. I am
Sweet.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
We only have a few more time. So yes, Yusuf, please continue.
So, with that community interaction stuff, before we get really heavy into that, we're going to go into, police accountability. Which
Yes,
is
sir.
Because, believe it or not, most of the stuff that cops are doing that is wrong, and they know it. Like, there are laws that are already in place that say that cops can't harass you and do X, Y, and Z.
That is true. Yeah, no, you ain't wrong.
One of the things that I'll get at the bottom is actually the link to the conduct for Beloit Police Department right there. All the different things for them.
If you send that to me, I can actually put that in the chat right now. Ooh, is that the bottom? Okay, here. I will copy it for you guys. So it is not at the bottom actually.
Goodness, I lied. I'm sorry. Oh wait,
no,
I separated it because I wanted to send it to you.
You know what? This is. I want everybody to know that these aren't really your normal interviews. If any of you guys watch Adam 22 out there, if you watch No Jumper, we just chilling. This isn't a normal podcast. We just chilling. This is chill time. We just want y'all to know who out here and what going on.
But yeah, and creating those channels. So before you get into accountability again, my bad. I know I switched. I'm about to switch back.
Switch back. Ooh, okay.
Was this concept, and they kept bringing it up, and this was the assumption of goodwill, which basically means when you're talking to when the officers are trying to get out there and speak to people, they would like goodwill assumed. Because it is true. Oftentimes, we just talked about going to the cops. Mm-hmm. You don't want to show up because you're like, I'm not trying to get arrested.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Which is fair.
That is not an irrational thought. But, maybe take some time and go look. Or even if they don't, maybe show up to a town hall meeting.
No, you ain't wrong.
Really,
show up to something. Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, true.
And at the same time, when those cops are there, they're not also assuming that the people there are criminals. So the assumption of goodwill is just not one fold. It's both sides. And upholding that is still a better responsibility on the cops.
No, you ain't wrong. Yep, true.
They're the ones that need to show that they are deserving of our respect. Right? Mm-hmm. That's where, going to another concept. People talk about police and respect. Respect is something that is earned, not given.
That is true.
If someone is a cop, that means they went through, some specific training to be able to do things traffic stops, all that good
Yep.
stuff. That does not necessarily mean they are worthy of
Yeah,
respect.
yeah, exactly.
And to keep that line of respect good, those cops need to act respectably. So during traffic stops, they can't be yelling at you and stuff.
Like they're a goddamn army sergeant.
Right, you
like,
don't
like, am I enlisted right now? Like,
maybe,
what are you doing? It is
right, exactly.
Like,
Maybe don't get lippy with the police. Maybe you shouldn't be rude to them.
I
But
mean,
at the
yeah.
same time, as long as you're not hurting them, as long as you're not doing anything, they shouldn't be hurting
exactly.
you either. More than anything, in that interaction, they have control. They're supposed to be trying to, shape this. But that assumption of goodwill goes both ways, from the cops and from you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way they want to really go about trying to interact with the community, is under those things. But they need to find a way to do it that actually reaches people.
Yep. No lie.
We'll go back to that in a second. But now
Okay.
we're going to go into that, the police accountability.
Yes. Please.
So one of the things they talked about when I asked them, like, how do you keep cops from being corrupt? What happens? One of the things they said was checking body cam footage, and that's we've seen during some of the protests.
It's funny about body cam footage. I've seen people do shady stuff on body cam, like
Ain't
knowing
it
they
crazy,
got the
and that's what
camera
I'm
right
like, bro. Do y'all?
What?
So the things I see. So I just, and I'm not trying to, segue too hard, but
there. No, my bad. Yeah,
I just watched the George Floyd footage,
Okay.
the unedited footage for the first time ever, and
Mhm.
that cop had his gun out right away, and all this other stuff being incredibly rude. And you'll see other body cam footage, where cops are just wilding on the body cam.
Yeah, man.
Where I'm like, yo,
And it's so weird that they knew, like they
know you're
like,
on camera.
Like not even like they. It's so weird that they knew each other previous to
yeah,
him
that whole
becoming a cop
situation was.
and this altercation.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, bruh, like.
Weird. But even when I'm at work, we got cameras on me at work.
Yep.
They don't got audio. I still be watching what I say.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm
True,
like,
you ain't
bro,
wrong, man.
But yeah,
you are not wrong.
Beloit PD has body cams that are checked thoroughly. They were saying that they get checked every single day, so that's really dope.
That's dope. Yeah, that's amazing.
And that there's a lot of continued training after you graduate the academy, which actually isn't something I knew. I didn't know that cops had to keep getting training. They're talking about ICAT training, and Beloit Police Department was implementing bias training and other things too, which is fantastic.
Nice.
So that's good. I feel like the only improvements I can make on that end, I mean, there's a bunch, but one of the bigger ones is they could, maybe look at more local sources for their training. They got the guy that helped to do the bias training during the Obama administration, which is really dope, very prestigious,
dope.
amazing
like
guy.
that.
But it would be cool for some more community collaboration.
Yep.
There's some good organizations out here. And
There is
that
definitely.
all that, just the different things are supposed to keep cops good. And the fact that any interaction that happens, can be reviewed. And that there are also internal investigations. An internal investigation means that it wasn't like you said something as a citizen that caused investigation. It's cops investigating, or departments investigating police, which is good. Which means that they know on their own just to make sure, hey, my people aren't shady, let's do this. And for the most part, most people isn't, and that's good too. And that's also something that should definitely be mirrored in a lot of other places in America as well.
True that.
And also on the same note of holding police accountable is this concept of qualified immunity, and we're about to get into that a little bit too.
Okay, bet.
Qualified immunity is basically what allows cops to not have to deal with the repercussions of doing things like shooting someone on camera and things like that.
True.
Or even just, general being rude during traffic stops, stuff like that when they break the law and things of that nature. It's going to get back into that because we're going to talk about government, and we're going to be done in a second. So don't worry. But, yeah, and like the fact that, and again, the fact that, our officers, our chief and our captain understand that, bad apples ruin the whole batch, period.
Yep.
And the fact that they want to see cops being held accountable is good. And not, I won't even say often, I'll say rarely or sometimes you'll see officers that feel like they need less accountability. They feel like they need to be more lax. Like there's too many things almost. They're almost too monitors how they feel. But I don't agree with that. I feel like accountability is good. And if you're a good cop, you should want accountability. There should be nothing. If you're a good cop doing the right thing, you should have no problem with being accountable for your actions.
At all.
Right.
At all.
So
if you're doing your job, not doing anything bad, then you shouldn't be afraid.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing to see is that they're like, cops need to be held accountable for what
that
they
is
do.
amazing. I love that. I love that.
In a nutshell, that is the interaction with. That is the gist of that conversation, was getting them to define how they think police work is, define the changes that police work have made, talking about the things that they feel need to be different as far as interaction stuff, and then talking about that accountability.
Okay.
Now, what that all means and what I feel is super important about this is one more thing, actually. So, along with
say
these,
it all, my friend.
all our institutions need to be working for us. I just said this a little bit ago.
Y'all heard that.
This is where that's important, is cops are, in a lot of ways right now, being scapegoated.
Yep.
I'm not a police apologist. I'm not trying to say that, every cop that's ever lived is a good cop. I'm not trying to say that cops don't deserve to be scrutinized. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't have any negative feelings about the police. I'm saying that cops right now are only the most visible portion of our law enforcement. Cops are just the thing that you see all the time. Cops are just what you can directly address and be aware of.
I mean, yeah, you aren't wrong. Yeah, I was gonna be like local judges and people who are on boards.
That's exactly where we're going, though.
Okay.
When you talk about cops and you talk about making change, a lot of times people get stuck on the police and then forget things exactly like that. There are judges, there are prosecutors, things of that nature that are also contributing to injustice.
Preach.
A lot of those things, like the fact that cops don't even control their own budgets. They don't do that. That's not something that the police do. So we really need to start, when we're talking about holding police accountable, we need to start looking at who's already supposed to be holding police accountable.
No lie. Yeah.
Looking at our mayors and our judges and everything else, and all these things that also affect how police work is carried out. Because even when we talk about the fact that facts. Even when we talk about the fact that law enforcement has typically been fuck poor people.
Yeah.
And the fact that that has changed. The reason why that's changed is because people, are loud enough and we're saying things enough that laws got changed to not include things like that.
Okay, yeah.
Society has changed to make sure that we can't just be beat in the street all the time because we
lie.
don't stand for it and all that. But we need to make sure we're also holding those other branches accountable. We can't just look at police and yell at police, even though if police are doing things wrong, we should yell at them. We can't stop.
He said we should yell at them. Yeah, true.
We got to keep going with it, and we got to hold all these branches accountable.
All right, here.
Now,
keep talking.
No worries. Now, with that, I want to talk about qualified immunity again. So when I first heard about this concept of qualified immunity, I thought it only applied to police. Now we're going to read the actual definition of qualified immunity. So a qualified immunity is a judicially created doctrine that shields government officials from being held personally liable for constitutional violations. So basically that means it helps government officials helps government officials not be liable for breaking laws, constitutional violations, your constitutional violations, violating your rights. Now I thought this just applied to cops. This is also the same with judges and other government officials too, so that they can do things that are a little illegal but aren't blatantly illegal without going to jail. Now, ironically, a lot of this was actually made to help combat the KKK, which is very interesting that there is anything done to help combat the KKK.
What the
but like a lot of things, it was twisted and messed up, and now people are using it to, get away with the killing of minorities and other people. But it was originally thought up, supposedly, so that, when you're dealing with a Klansman, if you punch him, you don't.
If you're dealing with a Klansman,
that's not. I mean, cops. That's not what happened with it. But that's what I read was the implementation. It's crazy though. But yeah, qualified immunity accounts for a lot more than just cops.
Okay,
that's very important.
He said dealing with
it also doesn't help that a lot of the things that law enforcement does isn't nationally universal. So you can have a precinct in New York and a precinct in California run themselves completely different. My
nigga, you over there, we run shit different over here,
exactly,
my G.
Right. You go from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Exactly.
Find out that you can't skip the right way, and now you're getting beat up and don't know why.
So we don't skip like this over here?
Right. And even when you look at things like conceal and carry laws around America, and that's the easiest one, maybe you're from Wisconsin where you can buy a gun and be fine and not even tell anyone you bought a gun, and you can, do whatever you want. You go to Illinois where you the gun has to have a license. You gotta
the gun is its own.
Right, exactly. You gotta have a video of that gun being made on the person, and you don't know. So now you're getting beat up by the police because you thought you were exercising your Second Amendment rights and were wrong.
You thought you were John Wick and you did.
Right. Nope. Now you're getting John Woods. It's messed up. No, but the fact that a lot of these things aren't national does not help at all.
Not at all, man. Not at all.
Dealing with law enforcement, it doesn't help with law enforcement with enacting laws.
That's
and
true.
even when you get into the bigger things, like the use of force, there's not a strict definition of what the use of force is.
True. No, you're
it's
right.
You're wrong. Use of force, basically, if you look it up, says anything that a cop has to do to get you to comply.
Control the situation.
Yeah, essentially.
Basically.
But that doesn't tell you if getting your arm pulled is a use of force. That doesn't tell you if moving. Now the police.
It doesn't specifically say what's. I feel you on that.
And the cool thing about the Beloit Police Department.
Okay, do you want to try that again?
They basically count any time where a cop makes you do anything as a use of force, and then they get to review it under that, which is good. I'd rather have to check more things than less. So that's great.
True. That's true. Yeah.
But that's not the same in every department.
Some
departments
not at all.
Run up, drop kick you, and be like, "Hey, you wasn't moving quick enough."
He said, "Grab you, then side me you."
Hit you with that down forward square, and you're like, "Ah, damn."
Okay.
Right now, I'm hyper comboed because I'm hard of hearing. I didn't hear you say that exactly.
Oh man.
And this fact that a lot of this isn't uniform enough, and it needs to be, and that's something that I think our police department at least knows. More police departments need to get on board with making a nice national standard what policing looks like.
That's true.
So, the ways that we use this information to go forward, and this is the most important part of all.
Yes, y'all better. Look, y'all don't have an extra scene to put the camera on him. Listen.
The biggest thing to help society, and that's in policing and everything else, but especially policing, is community involvement.
Okay.
Period. Point blank. When we
y'all heard that, community?
Wait until things are going terrible, and I'm not saying that this is any of the atmosphere right now is bad. It's good that people are staying up for themselves.
Yep.
But when we wait until things are going bad to come together and decide we're going to do something, we ignore a bunch of opportunities to stop things from getting to that point. Mm-hmm. Now, I can speak for myself. Before maybe a year ago, I didn't go to a city council meeting. I ain't been to a town hall. I don't even know where cops meet.
Where the town hall at?
Exactly. Like that. And that is maybe on one part they need to learn how to advertise better.
No,
maybe they need to get their social media stuff in order. Just figure that out. Police need to come out with an album and be like, yo, this is where you have our scheduled meetings. Just throw it in there. But we need, as a community, need to minimize the opportunities that there are for cops to be called. So that means that if you see somebody in the park barbecuing, and maybe you're like, I don't know if you can barbecue without a warrant. Maybe just Google it. Maybe just
Google it.
Talk to them. Don't call the cops. If you hear a noise complaint,
don't call the cops.
Right. Things have changed from the glorified 40s where everyone was best friends with their neighbors all the time, and you can borrow sugar,
borrow ketchup, sugar, ask
stuff.
For a knife for any reason,
all that good stuff. Maybe things are different. Maybe we're a little antisocial now. But if there's a noise complaint and all you hear is Call of Duty sounds, you can probably
a kid swearing at the TV.
Exactly. You don't need to call the cops for that.
You
can probably, if you really feel some way, probably just knock on the. You can knock on the door, leave a note like, yo. You're being kind of loud. I'm trying to.
You can look through the window and yell at them and just be like, "Can you keep it down?"
Matter of fact, just be louder.
Yeah, literally,
that's a joke. Don't do that. But no, minimize the opportunities for police to be called. You don't need to call the cops every time you feel a little unsafe. Now, specifically,
for you Karens and Kyles out there, or Kevin's, I guess.
That's why we need to really look at relationships with that, and that's why in the citizen request thing that we did, one of them was to learn the names of your neighbors. Too many people live in communities for 15 years, don't even know who the lady across the street is. Just looking at them, waving when they walk into the mail and then walk back in.
There's a Korean family across next door. I don't even know.
These
people about to move.
Go knock and say hi to them and be like, yo, what's up?
That's kind of awkward.
This is nice, though. I'll do it. We can go do that. No, but.
Whoa. You're adding extra black men. You're like, who are. Why y'all here?
let's just double the amount. I see what you mean. But no,
For
and,
another one. You're like, have 5 black men in front of your house. Like,
but no, minimize the need to call the cops. Really get your communities involved. Watch when your positions for judges and stuff are available to be voted on. If you haven't voted or anything or haven't been involved in anything, now's the time. Get involved. Understand your city council. Understand your local government. Understand everything that you can.
everything.
Because every time that these things go on without us, we messed up a little bit ago letting all our politics be ran by politicians, and we have a school board of teachers and we don't, police them properly. We have police.
Mm-hmm.
We also don't hold them accountable, and we forget that at the end of the day that all these positions are civil servant positions.
Mm-hmm.
That means they serve us. They're not our leaders. They're there to make sure our will is being led. We are leaders. We need to make sure we're leading them and make sure they're doing the right thing. But for way
Preach,
too
my friend,
long,
preach.
people haven't been involved in things. And I understand it's hard. It is hard in this day and age to work like 40 hours a week, to barely make any money, and then also at the end of the day care about what happens in your community. That's tough. That's a large sell.
That's a lot on your psyche, honestly.
Exactly,
yeah.
right. You expect me to care about the 2 Korean people over there when all I got is pizza pockets right now? But no, it's an important thing. And, when we really show this unity and togetherness in a way.
He said pizza pockets and
Bro,
ramen salt packets.
It's just the packets, bro.
I sprinkle that on my pizza pockets sometimes.
But, when we really do establish these community relationships, we as a community get to way better control the way our law enforcement and our school boards and our everything else, does its work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all us. When you talk about Beloit having a terrible school board, which they have a better, much
better.
Amazing. But you got to remember that, those people that are doing school board got voted in. You got to remember that these people that are doing these things, when you talk about judges prosecuting, young black men for outrageous things and then letting white people walk free for stuff, those people were voted in. And we
no lie,
to
man.
help
You
vote
aren't.
them out.
Yeah,
We need
true.
to make sure we're involved with those things.
Bro, in my opinion on that, I had to talk about with my with one of my teammates, shout out Image Nation, Kagebo Shinobi, about who we need to have on local boards and people who do run Beloit and that stuff. I was talking about you, bro. When it comes to us, because I honestly think that we should have more young POC people on board who especially want to lead the youth in a better way, lead their community in a better way, lead better, period. I was thinking of you just because obviously you've been pushing it the hardest out here. That's why I wanted you on the platform, because you've been working, you've been showing it, you've been doing it, and you've been walking the walk and talking the talk, and it's amazing to see. You've been planning stuff together, you've been putting everything together and all that stuff. It's just beautiful, man.
See, and the beautiful thing
your
about
community
that,
thanks
though,
you a lot.
I appreciate that so much. And the beautiful thing about that is seeing, how many leaders are rising up right now. It's been cool, seeing getting a local platform where you're interviewing the person, helping people. It's been great watching the connections of the youth actually get built and try to better that.
True.
I'm on, appointment review committee. So every time someone does something,
Hey, shout out to them.
Right, go. Hey,
shout out anyone you want to shout out, bro.
Right. Any committees, look in your city, find any committees that aren't, open, and you should definitely throw in your name for them. Because a lot of these things meet once every 2 months, and they are the ones that are making decisions about literally the sidewalks,
Everything.
how many stop signs
Everything.
there is, if you feel like a place should be built somewhere. All these problems. I don't even know if you remember where Casey's was by Walmart, but that light was trash.
Yeah.
It would be red for 15 minutes.
Oh
you would be late to work,
God,
and then nothing happened.
bro.
It's better now.
I wouldn't even go that way. I wouldn't even go that way
I
just
would.
because of that light,
Yep,
bro.
It was but now it's better, and
It
that's
is,
because
it
people
is.
actually spoke up on that, and something happened. Now, and that's what we need. We need community involvement. There is no such thing as too loud.
What's up, Ava? How's it going? I gotta say shout out to Ava. She's also the activist around here. What's good? So my bad to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Hot take question right now. How do you feel about Diane Hendricks?
Ooh, so Diane Hendricks is a billionaire, and I, just don't like billionaires.
no, he talking shit. I feel it.
If
Oh God, hold on! The camera turned off again, y'all. No! Oh God, hold on. We back in technical difficulties, but this is gonna take me long. But
for real. We got 5 more minutes, and we straight.
Yeah, five more minutes. But keep going with what you were saying, my friend.
I'm not jealous of people that have lots of money. A lot of times when you talk about billionaires and stuff.
All right, y'all. The camera is gonna be off for the last 5 minutes of this, so I'm just gonna keep it on the local interview thing.
No worries.
So yeah.
People get upset and think that you're like jealous or you want that money, and I don't. The problem is that any person that's a billionaire right now made their money by not being fair. Period. You can't get $1 billion playing the game fairly. You're usually avoiding paying taxes. You're usually making a lot of money from things that maybe the people that are working for you should have made more money from. Like the fact that you can be, rich and have people working for you that are in poverty is beyond me. And then at the same time, she's gentrifying Beloit straight up, where there's not a problem when you want to come into a place and put new businesses and everything like that. That's completely fine. But when you make those businesses, with the explicit function that they aren't for people that live that are
in the community,
there,
they are already there.
That's not you helping the community. That's you building another community on top of places where people already.
That's true. That's true.
And that's a whole struggle. But that's her. She has to show the same way that the police have to show, the same way that anyone that is trying to lead us have to show that she's a part of us and not something that's trying to erase us and just profit off of us. And that's where she needs to do her community engagement and stuff too, especially trying to put all these businesses. Beloit 200, where no one in there is from Beloit, and now she's opening up a school that's a chart. There's a whole bunch of stuff about that. We can do a whole episode on that.
Hey, low key, bro. This interview was amazing, low key. I've been thinking about if in the future, because you do a lot of live streams where you do talk to the community about what's going on in real time and all that stuff. I've been seeing. I've been low-key thinking about having you do the whole Yusuf Talks thing on here.
We can do that. We can set that up.
Yeah, I can show up the chat right here. I can also bring people into the live stream and talk to you personally and all that stuff like that. So, yeah, bro, I just want to say this is an amazing interview, bro. I loved having you over here. We've known each other for a long time, so obviously, this is going to be dope. This is good. Yeah, this is going to be dope, bro. So, shout out anything. Shout out anybody, anything you want for this last couple seconds. Go ahead, do it now.
What's good?
He's shouting them out. He's shouting y'all out.
Let me think. Shout outs to Marquise Terrell. Oh yeah, Point Review Committee got a bunch of black folks to do committee stuff in Beloit. Arsenio White is an amazing photographer.
Yes sir.
Man. He's on a board.
Good real estate agent as well.
Good real estate agent. You trying to buy a house? Talk to my boy Arsenio. Marquise Terrell
he will probably honestly be our next interview, just so be looking out for that.
Marquise Terrell ran for a position a little bit ago on city council. Unfortunately, he didn't win, but that's because COVID hit really bad.
He won with us.
Yeah, definitely for me. He does a lot of stuff in the community. He's been an amazing person throughout all of this. He's constantly helping out Merrill. Shout out to Dorothy Harrell. She just hopped on the board. NAACP in Beloit is awesome. Clinton Anderson, white guy. City council.
Okay.
Super dope. Regina Duncan. I apologize. President or head of the city council. She is amazing. There's so many great people. Megan Miller is fantastic. Shout out to Serge. Shout out to Rock County Jumpstart. Shout out to every person in Beloit that's doing the right thing. Shout out to you too, Kelly.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
That was Yusuf Adama. I am Pronobi One, y'all. This is Local Artisan, the best interview and promotion platform. And we will talk to y'all later. Peace out.
Said I'm on 3 pills right now. If I'm being honest, hope they shoot out like a rocket. Guess you really lost it.
It looks like you lost another one.
Said I'm on 3 pills right now, if I'm being honest. Hope my feelings shoot out like a rocket. Niggas thought they had the swag, but I'm really on it. Look at you just window shopping, that new bag I bought it. Caught you lurking on my Instagram, why the fuck you on it? Said you didn't care, mind your business. business, hop above it. Could've swore you had the juice, but I guess you really lost it. Hop out in public, check my fit, don't ask me what it's costing. Yeah, ayy, fuck your feelings, I'm off topic. Really could give a fuck about what you doing, I got in my bag and I